Hi, could you just say your name and introduce the Regent Park Film Festival to the public?
Definitely. My name is Richard Fung, and I'm the festival manager for the Regent Park Film Festival. This is our 6th year, and this year our main theme is the relocation and the Olympics because of Regent Park and its redevelopment. So we figured we have a theme on communities that are being redeveloped and relocated.
I see. And what about the Olympics part? How does that fit in?
That fits in with the Beijing Olympics that just passed away, as they tore down a lot of communities in order to build these stadiums and build the housing for the athletes, and relocated all the communities somewhere else. So it kind of ties in with Regent Park with what's going right now, as they're relocating some of the residents here and building condos, and then after that's finished, they'll move them back in. So it's in some ways it's similar, but in other ways it's not. But that's how it fits in together.
Okay, so when you said that they're building condos and then moving them back in, are you talking? Are these going to be public housing condominiums?
In Regent Park, the plan that they have is to have it 60-40, so 60 government housing or Toronto housing, and then 40 as in Newmarket, as in anybody from any class can buy a condo. So they want to mix the income rather than have one specific income. And so right now, if they're tearing down a particular residence building, they would relocate them to either another low-income housing community, or if they have a apartment open, back to Regent Park, just in another building. And then once the condos are finished building, they will move them back in if they choose to move back in.
Oh, I see. So the people who were here in Regent Park have first choice in moving in to the units?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And they also get I believe, I'm not too sure, but they get a discounted on the price of the condo. If you like my opinion about that, my opinion on the condos being built, I don't know, I'm not too fond of it. I've grown into the reconstructing Regent Park because the buildings are a little rough, and there is no through streets for to be connected with this within the city, as Regent Park is kind of closed in from the city. But in terms of building condos, it's a little rough because there are a lot of low-income families, and in order for them to get mortgages or even a loan to buy a condo, it's really hard. As for my I used to be a resident of Regent Park as well, and it took 3 family members in order for us to get a mortgage, and we couldn't even, and it wasn't enough to even buy the house, so we had to borrow money as well from friends and family. So it's really tough for other folks to do so. I don't know. It's really hard because, as I said, they're low income, and if they're bringing in condos that are minimum base price at $189,000, which is cheaper than what they are in downtown, but it's still a lot for folks who can't really afford that income.
How much income is needed in order to pass for the mortgage?
That I am not too sure of. As long as with my family, I think it was about 60,000, and so my 2 older sisters are on it, and my father is on it, and we just barely made the cut, as you can say.
I see. So, but the other part, that's 60% for public housing, that's people on disability and welfare. Is that what it means by?
That is what it means.
And geared to income type of.
Yeah, but I think I'm not too sure of the whole plan, what it is. But I think they want residents to own the property rather than rent it out.
Oh, really?
I believe that's the plan. I'm not too sure. And so that's why it's, like I said, it was hard for them to get mortgages and actually have the payment ready.
Yeah, well, but in a lot of poor areas, there are a lot of welfare and disability subsidized by the government, like, and 30% geared to income units. So what's going to happen to those people if they cannot pass a mortgage to move back? in?
That's a good question. They would be, if they can't afford the mortgage or are unable to receive a mortgage, they are most likely to stay where they are right now, which is in another government community housing, and just pay rent from there and stay there. And that's really unfortunate.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, let's go back to the films that are being shown this year. So, did you? Or is the selection? Is that relevant to the relocation and Olympics? Like, do you have films that you can recommend that are to do with these subjects?
Yes, we have 5 films in this panel discussion, is what we call it, and there are a couple of them where there's one in particular is set in Beijing, and a shop owner is kind of forced to sell a shop because they're tearing down the entire community and building for the Olympics. So that's kind of like the redevelopment and kind of relocation, and he relocate into another community for him to continue his business. There's also one called Market Segments, where it's kind of like a experimental, you might say, but it shows pictures of blank land, and kind of draws in all the particular roads and buildings, and kind of shows you the development of a town or whatnot. And so that's kind of like a redevelopment in a farm area, you might say. And then there's a few other films that are more related to it, but they are related to relocation and Olympics and
for the residents, but it's sometimes actually is a negative impact.
yes.
Because of the people, if they cannot afford to move back in, or because they're used to the neighborhood, then they have to move somewhere else for a while. So it's actually kind of interesting that it can have a negative impact for the residents who are currently in.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's really unfortunate that it does have a negative impact. Like, it's supposed to have a positive impact, obviously. It maybe will have a positive impact on the city as a whole, but in terms of these residents here, it's really affecting them more so, and you can't really kind of be biased and help one and not help the other.
Well, will there be any commercial development in Regent Park so that jobs are created for the people who move in?
Definitely, that was one of the discussions that came up in this redevelopment. So they are building more grocery stores here, more private shops here for people to run businesses. Because as you look at Regent Park now, there's not many shops or grocery stores around the neighborhood, and you have to kind of travel really far in order just to do shopping for groceries. So that was one of their main goals, to build a lot of business around the area so they can create more jobs for one, and have a safer community and have safer distance and not have to travel outside the community.
Okay, well, in relation for like films to the community that it addresses, do you think that the films speak to the target community here?
I believe so. Although it may be a little bit different in terms of, because they're in another country or whatnot, but it's all the same, as in if your house is being taken away or your shop's being taken away, and everybody can relate to that. I can relate to that. I was forced to move out, and my house was kind of taken away from me, and everybody feels differently about it. In these particular movies, you know how they feel, the character. You can feel for the character, and you can understand what the character is going through.
Okay, well, thank you, and I hope that this film festival will continue through the years.
Definitely, and thank you very much.
I'll invite Shaliwan, who will be your moderator for the panel, and all of our